Alright, let's get started. There are 5 anime that I really like this year. I'll start by naming them, but if you look closely at the thumbnail, you know who they are. So let's start. There's Darling in the Franxx. A lot liked it, a lot disliked it, I liked it. A few months ago, it was the show of the season, and like most shows today, once it's done, it just disappears. But I personally had a lot of fun watching it. It's the right kind of weird for an anime, and those good weird anime are always a breath of fresh air for me. Then we have Megalo. Megalo was kinda under the radar, but it's such a badass manly show. It has badass fight scene and cool old school arts. Honestly, it's awesome. If you're into badass dude fighting, this shit is for you. Then we have Violett Evergarden. God damn, is it good looking. If it was only the art and the music, Violett would win by a long shot. But Violett is not just style over substance. It's a beautiful character study of a war child trying to understand feeling. It's amazing. Then we have Hinamatsuri. This show is the biggest surprise for me. I mean, Darling in the Franxx and Violett were shows that I actually thought of watching before they come out. But this show was actually a show that I choose to watch as a joke. I was like, you know what, I'll choose randomly, and I'm so glad I did. This show is so funny. It kinda have a Gintama vibe to it, and Gintama is my favorite anime. And also, the art is super good of this anime. Not Violett Evergarden good, but good in its own colorful way. Finally, there's the super hype at the time, and like Darling, it just disappeared, Devilman Crybaby. Basically everyone was talking about Devilman Crybaby at the time, so I had to give it a try, and yeah, it's pretty darn good. It's a fast-paced devil fighting anime with really emotional scene in the mix. It's super good. Even if I'm not a huge fan of the aesthetic, it really gave it its own unique style. So now, which is the anime of the year? It's really hard. Okay, so Darling has a really cool lore and was really original. The characters are also pretty well done, even if they were a bit cliche. I especially like Zero 2, she was weird and fun and had a cool backstory. But this show stumbled with its ending. And I'm not the type of guy who say a show sucks just because I didn't like the ending, and this show sure as hell doesn't suck. But the ending was disappointing. It's a shame because the show did such an amazing job building its lore, and it ended up with such wasted potential. But the show is still awesome, and if you consider watching it, go ahead, it's a great show, but with some flaw. So Darling in the Franxx is awesome, but it's not anime of the year. So what's next? Megalo. Well, this show is pretty cool. It has badass fight scene and is manly as hell, but it's pretty much where it ends. It doesn't really have character arc or side story, it's simply a guy that fight to be in final, and that's it. And to be fair, it's kinda what makes it so fun to watch, but also one of its weakness. Megalo is a show that you will watch and be super hyped about, tell your friend to watch it, and once it's done, you won't really talk about it again. It's really good, but it lacks in memorable moment other show has. And I also think the ending was disappointing. Well, it was more the final fight, because the final fight was such a letdown, man. It's probably due to budget restriction, but come on, we basically watched the show for the final fight, and it's a letdown, man. So Megalo is really fun and badass, but it's not anime of the year. So yeah, for me it's between Hinamatsuri, Violett Evergarden, and Devilman Crybaby. One is just pure joy to watch, being the funniest show of 2018, Hinamatsuri. Gintama is my favorite anime of all time, and Hinamatsuri feels way too much like Gintama, with similar joke and a colorful cast of character. But aside from that, the art is super good. I love how colorful the characters are. This show doesn't really have a story, but it managed to keep you wanting for more with how fun and funny it is. While on the other hand, we have Damn Feel, the anime. Violett Evergarden. Violett Evergarden is for me the best looking anime ever. After watching Violett Evergarden, every other anime looked like shit. I know it's mean, but the show is just so beautiful. But Violett is also an emotional character evolution story where you follow Violett in her journey toward the understanding of love, passing through countless other sad stories. This show has a shit ton of memorable moments. If I had to name them all, it would take way too long. And finally, we have Devilman Crybaby. An amazing deconstruction of the superhero type story, and a really unique anime in both its presentation and story. I fucking love the fast-paced, unforgettable story of Akira as the devilman. This show have a ton of memorable moments that will give you the chill with how badass or disturbing they are. Okay, so it's super hard to choose. I mean, they're all super hard to choose, but I have a soft spot for those 3 anime in particular. Those 3 anime are not flawless show. I'm sure that you can find a lot of flaw and maybe you don't even like them, but for me it's a hard choice. Alright, so the Cyber Award of the Anime of the Year 2018 goes to Violett Evergarden. Why Violett? As much as I love Devilman Crybaby and as much as I wanted to give credit to Hinamatsuri, I have to give it to Violett Evergarden because it's not every year that you have an anime that has this much production value and well, everything. The music is amazing, the visual are the best in anime, the story is just a wonderful tale of suffering, pain, hope and love. This show just deserved it. So yeah, that was the anime of the year for me. Which anime would you give the prestigious title of anime of the year? Let me know in the comment section and subscribe, goddammit. With that said, Cyber is out.